especially if we're talking about like the same category of visa. If you have, for example, a refusal for a tourist visa and later on you're applying for an immigrant visa, assuming that, you didn't commit any fraud and you just didn't quite get to, that level of qualifying for the tourist visa, that refusal is not going to hurt you later on down the line in an immigrant visa interview. However, the more common situation is, okay, I'm applying for a B1, B2 for the second, third time. I'm applying for a student visa a second, third time. Does the officer know what was said in my previous interview? Does it hurt me next time? And the answer to both those questions is yes. The officer knows what you said in your previous interview, because the officer who refused you took notes and explained what they heard from you and their reasoning for their decision. And it is taken into consideration, for your next visa interview. So if you're inconsistent, if one day you say, you're definitely going to come back because you dream of being a pilot, and then a week later you say, no, I'm definitely coming back because I dream of being a ballerina, they're gonna know that you're telling a different story. How much that second officer knows, though, really depends on how much the first officer wrote. And that can really vary officer to officer, how much they put in their notes. So, on the flip side, you don't want to assume that the officer already knows some of your highlights. You do want to come in and present that again, just to make sure that the second officer knows the full story. It's important to know, though, with every refusal, it gets harder and harder and harder because, when you're before that third or fourth consular officer, you're asking them to disagree with the judgment of their colleagues who refused you before. And they're unlikely to do that. The default is for them to trust in their colleagues, believe that they made the right decision. And so it's incumbent on you, the applicant, to explain why they should make a different decision today. And so, it's not like, oh, I'm just going to try my luck again, see if I get a nice officer this time. Nice officers, unfortunately, seem to be getting more and more rare these days. But, even if you get a nice officer, if you come in and you just present yourself exactly the same way you presented yourself when you were refused, you're not giving that nice officer anything to work with, any reason to disagree with her colleague, and in all likelihood, you'll get the same response. So, at Argo, we work with a lot of clients who have previous refusals. Of course, I wish people would come to us before they get refused, because that's easier. But usually, oftentimes people have already been refused before. And so what we do is we look at, okay, what happened in your first interview? What did you say? Okay, here's my educated guess as to why you were refused, so that it's clear, that this is what we need to overcome. This is the part that we need to explain. This is the weakness in the case. And so after kind of identifying, okay, this is the problem, then we work on, okay, what's the solution?
Don't leave your visa interview to chance. Meet with a former visa officer to get the insights and preparation you need to pass your U.S. visa interview.